Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you these cute little sock dolls that I made. And I thought I would do a tutorial about it. This may be a long video, but you can always watch the replay and fast forward it to the session that you want to learn how to do. Hang on just a second. I'm recording with my iPad, but I am watching my timeline. Hopefully I can catch the comments if there are any. If you have any questions, if I miss them live, I will answer them after the video. Okay, are these cute or what? Now, these are all made with men's socks. I'm going to show you how to make each one of them. Let me show you them all close up, each one of them close up. Now this biggest one is made with a women's knit toboggan, like so. There's one for the body and one for the hat. So it takes two women's toboggans, not kids, those are too small, not men's, those are too big. Women's knit toboggans, two of them for one gnome, of the larger gnomes. Now these smaller ones, check out the snowman. Is that cute or what? This is made from a sock, a white sock, and a woman's footy, fuzzy footy. The snowman we're going to make, here's a smaller gnome, made with a man's sock. We're going to make him too. Is that cute or what? So cute. Here's a smaller one. And I'm also going to show you how to make this penguin. So cute. So cute. I can't stand it. I used to make sock dolls 30 years ago, and it was a big fad back then. And I saw this recently on YouTube. I thought, oh my gosh, I got to make some more of those. So I'm going to show you how to do that today, okay? So first I'm going to start with, let me move all these guys out of the way so I got some room to work. First I'm going to start with showing you all the supplies you're going to need. Okay, to start with socks. What kind of socks? You want to get men's socks because, well, they're bigger, right? Okay, everything that I'm using today I got from my local Dollar Tree store. The perfect socks for me, I thought, were these thin knit men's socks. In my Dollar Tree, I found them in 3 different colors. I like the neutral colors, I guess 4 different colors. One pair of socks will make 2 of the medium-sized gnomes. So you cut them in half and you use the bottom half for the body and the top half for a hat, but you probably don't want them to be the same color. So I suggest getting at least 2 pairs of different socks for the body. They could be solid. Of course, the penguin, you're going to want to use a solid black. So anyway, so you're going to need at least 2 pairs of men's socks for 2 gnomes, okay? The other thing you will want, again, Dollar Tree, some of them you could get 2 pairs for $1 even, just cheap, stretchy knit socks, men's socks. The other thing, for the coats, I got women's fuzzy footies or socks, whatever you want to call them. These are perfect. Women's are the biggest ones you can find. Men's would be fine. But out of one of these socks, you can cut and make the body and a toboggan. But again, you would want them to be different. Well, maybe you wouldn't. You could do whatever you want, of course, but that's what I want. I wanted them to be different. So I got, so for at least, since you got 2 socks and a pair, for 1 pair of men's socks and 1 pair of footage, you can get 2 medium-sized gnomes, okay? So, that's the first supply. I'll get back to those in a minute. The next supply is for the beard. Let me find this guy. For the beard, all my beards, I use these same cotton mops. Now you can buy a cotton mop at the Dollar Tree for $1, but you can also get the replacement heads, which is lots easier and I had less to throw away. Excuse me, my phone's ringing. Anyway, it is a cotton mop head replacement thingy. Perfect for a beard, right? The other neat thing is these just pull out. So in preparation to make all these, I pulled all of these out. I'm not going to do all that now, but just to show you that they do just pull out. I laid them all the same length. See, they're quite long. And then I just folded them in half and cut them, okay? So that length, folded in half, is enough to make all of these gnomes that I made and still have some left over. So, and it's just $1. So these are fantastic, and I'm telling you, the closer it gets to Christmas, people would be snatching them up to make Santa. So if you find a Dollar Tree store that has them, of course all this stuff is also available at Walmart, but the Dollar Tree is cheaper, okay, by $1 or $2. But anyway, you want to snatch those up if you want to make these for gifts because they'll be hard to find the closer we get to Christmas, okay? So a cotton mop head for the beards. Also, we have to glue these pieces onto something solid to then glue this onto the sock, okay? You don't want to just glue these directly there. It wouldn't, you just don't want to. So for this could just be a strip of fabric. It's not going to show. Just, this happens to be a piece of seam tape that I had. You could use ribbon, just something that you could glue these things to when we get to, okay? So I just used what I had. If I hadn't had this, of course I sew, so of course I had this. If you don't have this, just rip up a piece of fabric. It doesn't matter. You just need, you know, a ½ inch piece of fabric or some kind of ribbon or something to glue these beard strands onto, okay? Okay, you also need some white thread. I had off-white is fine. White thread, floss, embroidery floss, some kind of string to tie around the beards. So you'd want white. I used black on this one and it's kind of obvious, so I would recommend white. But white, some kind of white thread or string to tie right here to tie this little bundle together. So that's for the beard. Okay, then the rice. You use rice. Again, dollar store is the best place to get rice. I poured it in a bowl because it's easier for me to scoop rice out of a bowl. So get you a bag of rice. The dollar store, because I knew I wanted to make quite a few of these, I bought the 10-pound bag for $6. 10 pounds, I still have this big bowl full, plus all the ones that I made. So 10 pounds of rice will make at least 5 or 6 medium-sized gnomes, or one of the large ones and a couple of the smaller ones. So again, 6 pounds or 10 pounds of rice, I paid $6 for at the dollar store. So we need rice, and I'll show you later what this glass is for, but any kind of a glass or a cup even, and then something to scoop the rice into. Actually, what I'm going to do with this cup is I will put the body down in here to hold it while I fill it with rice. That's what the glass is for. You could always do it just sitting there, but I just find you'll be dropping rice every place if you don't put it in a glass or something. Okay, so the other things that I used, here I got a whole thing full of accessories here that I picked up. Of course, the accessories you want to decorate them with is totally a personal preference for you. You also need some twine. The twine I use to tie around the head and to tie the top clothes. You need some kind of strong cotton or jute twine or string or some kind of cord that's strong to tie around the neck and the head and the nose when we do the nose. So twine is something you'll use. Also rubber bands. See all these little itty bitty, I got this big package of these small rubber bands at the dollar store for $1. These are just to when you tie the top closed, it's hard to tie. So if you rubber band it first to hold it in place, before you tie jute around it, that's what the rubber bands are for. You definitely need them. Doesn't matter what colors, they're not going to show. You just need some rubber bands. Okay, rubber bands. I picked up a couple of floral wreaths, just some various floral wreaths that had little pieces that I could cut off to decorate the hats or the scarves with. I picked up that. Here's another one with gold little sections. You could cut that whole section off. I picked up a couple more with the burgundy berries, the green berries. I just got a whole bowl full of different colors of berries to put on the hats and the scarves if you decide to decorate it that way. So you need a few floral picks. I picked up a little package of pom-poms in different sizes. I got green and red. Again, these things are just a personal preference of whatever you want to decorate your gnomes up with. I also found a roll of, it's polyester, but it's a glitter mesh, which I cut little pieces off to decorate around his hat. You just accumulate all these cute little accessories for the holiday seasons that you'll use for all kinds of things. Okay, so that's that. I also, 3 more things I got while I was getting it. I'll tell you what, after Christmas, all this stuff is really, really cheap, although it's hard to find. I found these wired garlands. I got one in gold and red. This is something you might put around his hat, like this, just personal preference thing, whatever. There is this thing called reindeer moss. Now, I especially like this because I like I'm not so much into the all glitzy and bright reds and stuff. I like the more primitive look. This is reindeer moss, which is a soft, more pliable moss like this. It's a natural product than your regular dried moss, but whatever. This is just, I wanted to make little things like this for the hats. Not a requirement for making these. You could decorate them with whatever. What you might want to do is make your basic gnomes and then go shopping to find what kind of accessories you want to put on them, which is what I did. Okay, the reindeer moss is messy. Okay, what else? Oh, you might need some cotton balls if you want to poof his hat up and make it taller. Not a requirement, this is just a preference thing. You're gonna need scissors, of course. For the penguin, you need some buttons for this piece here. I found some cute little 1/4-inch wooden buttons that I liked really well. You don't have to put buttons on, that's just what I did. Then this felt. Now, I couldn't find a piece of white felt at my dollar store, but what I did find was a package of these. They're some kind of felt cutout things. Not exactly what I wanted, but there was enough on here that I could cut out my piece. Well, actually, the piece where the round holes are, I just cut it around here and put the buttons right where the holes were. You need white felt or something. I guess you could use fabric, but felt is what I wanted. This is all I could find. It'll work. I like to make things work, okay? So that's for the penguin. Also, underneath his arms, he has a piece of white felt. Again, some white felt, even if you have to make do with something else and cut it to size, okay? Let's see, scissors, of course. Oh, this was another cute thing I found. I didn't know what I would use it for. What I ended up using it for was I cut these little berries off to paint for the penguin's nose. But even if I wrapped this around a hat and twined it around, that would be cute too. But I picked this up too. I just went crazy looking for little things that I could decorate my penguins with, okay? So that's all that. The other thing, of course, is a glue gun and glue sticks. Going to use lots of hot glue. There's no sewing involved in this project. Another thing that you could do, let me find my snowman. Where's, oh, my snowman. One other thing, the snowman's nose, is that cute or what? Now, I made his nose out of polymer clay. You could also make it out of salt dough clay. But I want to show you how if you make it out of clay, I just made a little pyramid, put it on a piece of foil and baked it for whatever the temperature says. I think it's 325 for 20 minutes or something to make it harden. And then I just hot glued it on there. This is a teeny tiny one. But you can make this out of salt dough. You could also use a piece of aluminum foil that you twirled up into a cone shape and then paint it for a nose for your snowman if you want to. But that's, I use polymer clay. Also, the eyes. The eyes for the penguin and the snowman, you can, if you can find teeny tiny black beads, that would work great. If you can't, what I did was I took ball-headed straight pins and I dipped them in paint. Let me show you. If you're not going to do this, you won't need craft paint. But if you do this, this is how I did it. I'm going to paint those little balls on black for the snowman. I want them to look like rocks. I would just put a little bit of paint on a paper plate. And I hope you can see this, and dip this, twirl around like that, and then stick them in something to dry. That's what I did for the eyes for the snowman. I did the same thing for the penguin, only I did white first. Then I went back and dipped just the tip in black for the eyes. And then when these were dry, I used wire cutters to cut these off about there so I could just stick them in there. And then before I stuck them in there, I put a little drop of Elmer's glue on there so that once it got stuck in there, it would stick. So that's what I did for the snowman eyes and mouth and the penguin's eyes. Now, like I said, if you don't want to have to do that, you don't need craft paint for anything, except you will need some paint for the gnome's nose. The little gnome's nose is painted, so you do need, it doesn't matter what name brand, a flesh-colored acrylic paint to paint the gnome's nose. Again, it doesn't matter what name brand. And if you can't find flesh colored, you can mix white and a rusty orange together to get a flesh colored paint. But you do want to paint the nose, okay? So that's, I think that's all the supplies that you'll need. And again, some of these are optional. You probably just want to make a couple of the basic bodies and then decide how you want to decorate them, okay? So let me get all this out of here and we'll get started. Okay, I hope everybody's doing good. Okay, I see, hang on just a second. I see, I'm watching this on my laptop while I'm filming it here with my iPad. So we'll see how this works. I'm not seeing any comments. Okay. Oh, I found it. There we go. You gotta turn the sound down. Sorry, hang on a second. Okay, I see. Hang on just a second. Okay, there. Okay, I can see what's happening. Okay, hi Joyce. My laptop is delayed just a hair second, so I'm turning the volume off here. If I miss your comments as we go, I will watch the video afterwards, okay? So these are the things we're making today. Snowmen, penguins, gnomes. They come in small, medium, or large. I'm going to show you how to make those. Okay, let's get started. Okay, we're going to make the basic body first. Hi, Latika. How you doing? Nice to meet you. We're going to start with the basic body first. Now, as I mentioned, you want to use men's socks for the body because they're big, right? Hang on a second, let me take this apart. I got everything at the dollar store. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. Hey Debbie, how you doing, girl? Haven't seen you for forever. Okay, so check out these big men's socks, and of course they're going to stretch. Okay, we're going to use all of the sock except the heel, okay? So I'm going to cut right below it and right, kind of cut a little wedge out of there. This can be a toboggan or another body, but this is the one, the main body. Again, you could do the same thing with this and just sew up the bottom to make another body, but I would use it for a hat because the ribbing is perfect for the rim of a hat. Okay, so since you got two socks in one pair, I would get a pair of a different color to make the hat from, okay? So see, let me find the match. Oh, there we are. So this one I've already cut the heel out. So this would be a hat, that would be a body, this would be a body, that would be a hat. So what I did was get a couple different colors so I can mix and match them. The prints are perfect. As you see, that's what I made his body from. I didn't even put a coat on him because his body was so cute. Now, this one, I just used a white sock, so I put a fuzzy coat on him. So you may need fuzzy coats. Here's the women's footies, fuzzy footies. Again, cut right below the heel, straight across. Now, if I didn't want to make a white body, I could just make the whole body out of just the fuzzy coat, but I would want the toboggan to be different, so it kind of contrasts with the coat. So I might use a black footy body, and this for a hat, or a black body for the penguin, and this for a hat. You just want to mix them and match them up, okay? So we're going to start with we're going to start with the main dude here, okay? Using this body. So I'm going to use this, and as I mentioned, I got my rice in a big bowl here so I can scoop it out really easily. I'm going to put my sock down inside of my glass so it makes it easier to fill with my rice. Got to stand up here. Now the trick is, hang on a second. The trick is to get not to spill any rice, okay? So that's why I put it in a glass. I mean, once you get it so full, you can take it out, kind of pound it down like this, and keep filling it, okay? Oh, see, I spilled it out anyway. Oh, God, I really spilled it that time. I am a messy, messy crafter. Okay. Hang on a second, I'm gonna clean up my mess. Okay, so we're gonna keep on filling it all the way to the top. And it's going to take about maybe 2 or 3 cups of rice for this one. Okay, you want to leave just about 1 inch at the top that you can tie up, bounce it down to kind of get it to settle down in there good. You might be able to put a little bit more in there. Put as much as you can in there. Okay. That's enough. Get that out of the way. Now, this is where the rubber bands can come in handy, because it's really hard to hold this together while you're tying something around it. So it's easier to use the small rubber bands kind of as a temporary. So I've used the rubber bands to get that up there. Now I'm going to use my twine. This is where you need a strong cord. I like the twine, $1 for a whole roll of twine. It'll last me for forever. And tie this off in a knot really tight. Now none of this is going to show. We're going to put the hat over top of it. You're just making it secure, right? Hang on a second. I don't have a canning jar funnel, Debbie. I got to make do, okay? So that is, it's so cool because you can just kind of shape it later. As you're working on it, you may just want to squish it this way so you can see what you're doing. But so you've got it tied off here. Now I'm just going to grab a glob here with my, like this, about this size. Give me an idea. I'm going to use another rubber band to hold it. Now if you want a bigger head, you can kind of let some more rice go down in there. Like that, okay? None of this is going to show. None of it. Except around the edges here. Now to make the nose, this nose, is that cute or what? You're just going to pinch up a glob like this. Take another small rubber band. Now I know my hands are in the way for you to see this. The ponytail rubber bands are perfect. But again, I just got this package of ponytail rubber bands, small ones. And that's how you make the nose. But again, everything we tie off, we have to tie it with a string also, because I don't know how long those rubber bands will last, right? Don't want to take the chance. So I'm going to tie up his neck with string. It'll be covered by the his scarf. Just want to get it secured there. So these will last for forever. Cut that off. The same thing with his nose. Take a little piece of jute, tie off his nose. Trying to make it where you can see what I'm doing also. Keep my hands out of your way. Okay, cut that off. Okay, so that is your basic gnome body. Now you're gonna use the same process whether you make the body out of a white sock and put a coat on it out of a fuzzy coat, or whether you make the penguin. Here's the same thing out of a black sock, that I'm going to make a penguin out of. Again, this is going to be covered up by a hat, so don't worry about that. The strings are going to be covered up. Now your penguin does not need that kind of a nose. You would make your little nose out of polymer clay or foil or something, or maybe even cut just a little triangle, tiny triangle out of orange felt for a nose. You could do that. But your basic sock pattern, that is how you make all of them. The snowman doesn't have that kind of a nose. It just has a little carrot out of polymer clay. But the gnomes, this is how you make the nose, okay? Can you see that? Okay, so the next thing is painting the nose, because you want it to be flesh colored, right? So I just took some acrylic paint. Just took some acrylic paint. Got my nose dry in there. Some acrylic paint. It's pretty thick. Doesn't really matter. Acrylic craft paint, flesh colored. And I very quickly, now it doesn't matter if you get it back there. It doesn't matter how messy you are, because it's all going to be covered. You're just going to paint his nose. Now, because it takes time for this to dry before you can go on to the next step, I did this on another one. But I will tell you, it will take a couple of coats of this to cover it pretty well. and you'll want to dry in between coats, but I just painted the nose all the way around. And again, don't worry about being neat because none of this is going to show around here if you slop it on there. That's why I love this. It's just so easy. Even kids could make these. This would be a fun kids project, or even if you're getting together with your family for Christmas, it would be a fun family project to make. But you get the drift. I just paint his nose, the flesh color, let that coat dry, and paint another coat on it to get a good coverage, and let that dry before you go into the next step. To save all that time, which we're all about saving time, right? You don't want to work with it while it's wet. So to save time, I have another guy that I made and have him, his nose is nice and hard and covered, okay? Excuse me. I'm breathing in jute crumbs from my twine. Okay, hang on a second. My thing is not working again, I'm telling you. Sorry about that. Hang on a second. Quick break. Okay, so we're ready to do the next step, which is the beard. The fun part, making the beard, is so much fun. Now you would do the same process even if you were making this great big gnome. Let me show you one I have in process for him. This is the woman's toboggan. See how much it stretches when you fill it with rice? That's why you don't use a man's toboggan. You use the woman's toboggan. See how big he stretched? This is the big one. Again, it's the same thing. It would take a toboggan for the body. That's what this is. And a toboggan for the hat that I will put over this later after we get the beard on it. But that's two toboggans for the big gnome. Again, that's about the size. I mean, that's a good 8 inches across maybe, and maybe 8 to 10 inches tall. Pretty big, okay? He's dry. I painted him last night. But it's the same basic body, okay? So, we're ready for the beard. Okay, the beard. As I mentioned, these mop heads, one mop head, you just pull all these strings out. They all pull out, they all just pull out. I laid them all off, laid them all down, cut them in half, put half in a bag to get it out of my way. And this is, I made several out of this pile here, okay? So, sorry I'm spending so much time moving things around out of my way. Okay, you have to have something to glue the beard to. So I used a piece of seam tape. You could use ribbon or just a piece of string or just a ripped piece of fabric. You just want something solid to glue this to. And I happen to have some 1/2-inch seam tape, so that's what I used. So you're going to cut off, you're going to kind of eyeball about how big you're going to make it, about this long. For this guy that I'm making, although I made one right here, that's kind of how it would look. But, just to give you an idea, I'm going to hot glue like I'm going to put like a 1/2 inch of hot glue down, and then I'm going to line up my, oops, I didn't have it out. Line up my string. You want it to be a little bit higher than the, tape, so the tape doesn't show. A little bit higher. You want to put them real close together. Be careful you don't burn yourself. You know how that goes. keep forgetting to make it higher. Okay. So you're going to continue doing that all the way across, like I did here. One row all the way across. And once you get your one row all the way across, and leave about a ½ inch or so at the end so you can hold on to it. Then I go back and do another row in between those. Want a little bit thicker. Be careful, it's hot. Ouch. Okay, so that's how you make the beard. So I'm going to go ahead and, to save some time, I'm going to move on over to this one, okay? So this is my beard. I'm going to hot glue on here. Now, we'll lift up his nose. Kind of eyeball, see where you want to put it. This is all going to be covered up, as you see, by his toboggan. But you want to get it as much U-shaped as you can around his nose like that, okay? So first, to do that, I'm going to start with one dot of glue right below his nose and center that right in there, as close under there as I can get it, and hold it till it dries. And then move the rest of it on up here. One side first. Get it all the way up there. This is why you need to put it on a strip of something. I'm gonna do that. Sorry, you can't see this side. You gotta do it. I gotta move it where I can see it. Okay, so you can kind of see what I did almost. Kind of made it look like a skirt around his nose there. Now as soon as it cools off here. Okay, now you can see, you can just move this rice around to get it to where you can see what you're doing, okay? So that's his beard. Now, as I mentioned, these fuzzy hats are made from the woman's footies. The woman's footies comes like this. I cut the heel part out. This could be a body, but I'm going to use this part for his hat that has the ribbing at the top. So what I'm going to do, I need to tie this off, so I'm going to turn it inside out. And just like I did the top of the body when I got the rice in it, I'm going to gather this with my fingers together. Tie it off with a rubber band first to close it. And then tie it off with twine to secure it. The rubber bands are just to hold it so you can tie it. Okay. Remember, everything you rubber band, you need to tie it with something on top of that. The rubber band is just to hold it together so you can tie something on it, okay? And knot it really well. Okay, so I'm going to turn that back outside. I have me a little toboggan. Now, how do I want to decorate the top of it? As you see with this guy, I put a little jingle bell on there in the middle. This guy, I put a little pom-pom on the, pom-pom on the top of it. I just happen to have made a couple of toboggans earlier to save some time. Here's a black one, but his body's black, so I want to put a different color on there. I love these little black and white ones. I like the neutral colors. I made one already. I hot glued a jingle bell to the end of it, so that's what I'm going to use for him. Now, if you don't like that he doesn't have a head, the gnomes are just kind of blobby. You can go back under there if you want him to have a head. In fact, I might just do that. I don't think I did that with this guy. I just, in trying to save steps, but you could do that. You could do that. You could make the head just like we did here if you wanted to, but I'm going to just leave him this way. I kind of like that about him. Okay? Okay, so he needs a scarf. We'll put the toboggan on him in just a second. I'm going to put a black one on him. Yeah. Okay, so he needs a scarf. Now, I sew, so I had some fabric. Check out this scarf that I found at the dollar store. It's a big scarf. Perfect. Very thin and fuzzy and soft. I love it. $1. I bought it at the dollar store so I can cut it up into 3-inch strips to make my scarves out of. Love it. So you could use that for scarves. Or if you buy 1/4 of a yard of flannel, I found a pretty gray and black flannel that I bought a yard of and then just ripped it in 3-inch pieces. That'll make a bunch of scarves, okay? But that's what we're going to use. We're going to make him, maybe I'll make it out of this. I like this. Okay, so I'm going to put the scarf on now. Now I kind of have to get his beard out of the way, kind of go up under his beard here. I guess in a way this is going to kind of make his neck. Just want to tie it in a knot. Like that. It doesn't really show except from the side. Okay, so he's got his scarf on now. His toboggan, I'm just going to put it on like this. Is he looking cute or what? Love it. So I'm going to start back here and put some glue right below his scarf. Just a little dab. Turn my scarf band up and hold that in place for a minute until it cools. How's everybody doing today? Are you guys enjoying your Saturday? Okay. So once that has cooled, I'm going to put it on around him here. Get it situated. You want it to come right down and cut. You want it to be clear down there and cover everything. So I'm going to work my way around and keep on gluing. Same thing on this side. Love, love, love him. Okay. Okay, so is that cute or what? It would be so fast and easy if you were sitting here making 6 of them at a time. Just go boom, boom, boom right down the list. Okay, right down the road. Okay. Now I need to put his little mustache on. I made a little bundle of 2 or 3 strands of the yarn, tied it in the middle with string. And now I'm going to glue that on there, right below his nose. Thank you, Joyce. I love making these. You can make these and leave the Christmas stuff off and make garden gnomes or just elf on the shelves, guys. They'd be so cute, okay? So you could leave it like that or trim it up, shape it up, however you want to have your little beard. That just kind of adds to his adorableness. Love, 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 love him. Okay, now as you see, for the way his beard hangs, you could cut it and shape it up if you wanted it nice and trimmed up. I kind of like him just kind of rugged, just the way he is. Okay, so what else would you do to him? This wired garland that I got. I don't want to use my good scissors to cut it. Hang on a second. Hang on just a second. You don't ever want to use your good fabric scissors to cut wire. It'll ruin them. Okay. I got these itty bitties. So just cut. And again, you could wrap twine around there. I'm going to just wrap this around there a couple times. Twist, tie it off. It's just a little something you do. The rainbow moss, hang on a second, that I showed you a minute ago. You could make a little, I'm going to make this little cluster here with the reindeer moss. Just take a glob of it. Use some string to tie it together. Stuff is really messy. The neat thing is it's kind of a little bit, it's like it has glycerin on it or something to make it pliable. It's real easy to work with, but it is very, very messy, okay? I wanted just something small but natural looking. I like the natural looking things that you might put to the side. Yeah, put it right there. Messy, messy, messy. Okay, let's see. As I mentioned, I got some floral picks that had these berries on them. Of course, some of them look pretty bad for $1. You can't be too picky, right? I especially like this. It's kind of pliable, but I can cut those off and use individual little branches of it. If I want to glue two of these together to put on there, but that's kind of overkill with this. I got these in the burgundy. I also got them in green. I like the green ones. They look real natural. Finding a few of them that are not damaged is the fun part. See, that would be darling. I like that. That works. I'll glue that on there. It's like once you get all these little things out to make these, you want to make a bunch of them while you're at it, right? Okay, love him. Now, you could also use some cardstock and make a little sign, maybe glue 2 or 3 sheets of cardstock together, cut them in little squares and have a little sign on him, peace, or baby it's cold outside, or whatever. But he's basically done. Isn't he cute? Love it. Okay, so that's your main gnome. Now, using that same body pattern, instructions for the body, let's make the big one. So here is, let me get him over here. So here is the big guy. This, again, 2 toboggans. Joyce, what I do is usually after Christmas, I used to do craft shows with my mom for years, And after Christmas, I'd always go buy up these little pieces of miniature things that I accumulated so many over the years. But I tried to just go to dollar store, see what's available now, and just pick up what I have. It depends on what look I'm going for. But I like these little details. It's what makes them really special. So yeah, I can't ever find what I need, so I just make it. If you have all the little knick-knacky things, you can just make it yourself. Okay, so we're going to make this next. Again, 2 toboggans, 1 for the hat and 1 for the body, okay? I'm going to fill it just like I did the other one, which I've already done. I just painted his nose. It's not even really dry. I would usually go back and paint another coat on there, but to save time, I'm not going to. This is the difference in 1 coat of paint or 2 coats of paint. So you really need that second coat. Let this dry really well and then paint a second coat on there. But to save time, I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's kind of damp. I can't put another coat on there. I'll try to do that later. But anyway, just wanted to show you what it looks like. This is the toboggan filled with rice. Just the toboggan. I didn't do anything to the toboggan. Just filled it with rice. Tied it off with the rubber band first so that I could tie it with twine really, really tight. And then he's ready to decorate, okay? So this guy, again, this beard's going to take a little bit longer because it takes more string, right? Okay, so as I mentioned, I would pull all these out. I should have done this ahead of time. It's going to take half of a mop for 1 Santa. So if you're going to, or Santa, I mean gnome. So if you're going to make a couple of these, 1 mop will do 2 of these. Or 1 of these and like 3 or 4 of the smaller ones, just to give you an idea. But these are so cheap. $1 for a mop head replacement at the dollar store. Walmart's got them. They just pay a little bit more for them. But what I did was I pulled them all out of there. Then you're just going to cut them in half. You're going to use half the mop for 1 large gnome. And the other half for the other large gnome, okay? Excuse me. This is just, I'm just going to eyeball it because that's what I do. I just eyeball things. Okay, so again, take your string or your fabric. Again, you could use ribbon. I'm using 1/2-inch bias tape. You're going to decide how big you want it to be, about how much you need. Add another inch for you to hold on to. Again, you could do this with 1/2-inch ribbon just as easily. I want this to go right up about here. A little bit too long, maybe. Okay, so you need something fabric to glue your beard onto. You use lots of glue for this, people. Now, this part is kind of boring for you, I know. You want to make it a little bit, you don't want to line up even with your tape. You want it to cover the tape, so I just go up just a little bit. If you don't get these perfectly straight, you can trim them off. That's why you go up a little bit bigger, a little bit tighter. Glue these right up next to each other. Glue on my finger. Joyce, are you working today? Or are you off? Did you get a Saturday off? And Becky, if you're watching this now or later, happy birthday. I hope you're having a special day. Dollar Tree has glue guns for $1. Can't believe that. I've got about 6 of them. I can never find them. It's like a good pair of scissors. When I need them, I can never find them. Oh, you're off good. What's your weather like? The sun's shining here today. I went out to get my mail. It feels like it's in the 60s maybe. The sun's shining here. Trying to hurry, people. I know this is a boring part of it for you. Oop, didn't get up there far enough. Yes, well, mine does. My Dollar Tree had them. Don't know about yours. Walmart's got them, if not. Oh, it's 55? Well, at least it's sunny, right? Okay, so go about as long as you think you need, and then check it to make sure. I need this. Oh, this is long enough. Now I'm going to put the second row on. Okay, so the second row, you don't start on top of them. You go in between the previous ones. I don't know if you can see that or not. But you're going to go in between the previous ones. The idea is to cover up the bare spots. Oh, good, Becky. Well, you know what? You can make them yourself and shock her. Oh, I need another glue stick. Hang on. Where's my glue sticks? Where's my glue sticks? Who took my glue sticks? The bad thing about living alone, you can't blame anybody when you can't find anything. There they are. You'll use at least a glue stick for each gnome. It seems like using lots of glue sticks. Okay. So just continue on. Making the beard as thick as you want. But 2 rows I find is plenty. You do too thick of that, then it won't fit under his nose where it's supposed to go. Getting more on me. I hate when that happens. I'm trying to keep my hands where you can watch what I'm doing. Again, you're staggering these between the ones below it. Becky, it's enjoyable. It's fun. It's fun, and they make great gifts and cost very, very little to make. Price of a sock and at the dollar store and a bag of rice, basically, and all the rest is just knickknacks here and there, whatever you can find to decorate with. I'm almost done here, people. forgot to cut those in half, looks like. One more. One more there. Okay. Okay. Cut those off. What kind of weather you got, Becky? Becky, I made the nose out of, I made them out of polymer clay, but you could also make them out of, you can make just a little batch of salt dough clay, which is really easy. Or you could use a piece of foil and form it into a hard nose and then paint it for a nose, or a button, or a piece of cinnamon stick, or you could, if push comes to shove, you could always just cut a little triangle out of felt and glue it on there. I'll show you the noses that I made out of polymer clay last year. Hang on a second. I'm trying to watch my laptop over here so I can read the comments. The noses I made, here's the ones I made out of polymer clay a few years ago. Got glue on my fingers. I bought orange polymer clay and made those. This was white clay and I painted them orange. Polymer clay is great for making little carrot-like noses that are flat on the bottom. You just form it and then you have to bake it for like 20 minutes or something. But I do the same thing if I was making this out of salt dough clay that I made, or even aluminum foil. Just take a little square, like a 5-inch square of aluminum foil, fold it around, make it into a shape of a cone, and then paint it and glue it on to make a carrot-like nose. Okay. Okay, so I got my beard done. Now I want to kind of, I don't want this to come unfrayed at the top. So I'm going to go back and just kind of dab some glue. I'm barely putting any glue on it. This is just to make it a little bit glued to each other. I'm going to come back with my finger. I know this is not a smart idea for hot glue. There, see how that kind of mashed it all together so it won't come unraveled? Well, it's on there now. You have to pick the glue off your fingers. Oh. Okay, hang on. Okay, so we got the beard done. I'm gonna totally shape it up at the top and make it completely straight across there if it needs to be. That was why you put it a little bit taller than your ribbon, so that you could do that at the end. And straighten that up. I got fuzzy stuff everywhere. Okay. I'm going to cut this off here. Okay, so now we got our big guy. So I'm going to eyeball where the halfway point is. Or if you're meticulous, you could put a pin in the halfway point. I'm going to eyeball it. So first I'm going to put a dot of glue there first, up under his nose, as much as I can get it. Hold it till that dries, then I'm going to move this side up here and that side up there, okay? Come on, get up there. Okay. Okay. Now, this is all shifted around while you're working, but after you get him all done, you can get him all settled in there, okay? Okay? So then I'm going to just come up here. Do that. Sorry, I gotta look at him straight on to get the other side, see? Like that. Don't want to spend too much time trying to get him perfect. He's a gnome. Gnomes aren't perfect. Okay, so we got the gist of him done. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to cut his beard. Some people just cut it straight across to the table, which is what I kind of did for this guy. Come on, come over here. You see, I just cut it straight across here, angled it a little bit on the side, or you can make it shorter if you want. I kind of like that. These would be so cute to put on the back of your toilet in the bathroom, in your guy's bathroom. I used to have a gnome on the back of mine that had a little sign that said, "Don't sprinkle when you tinkle." I kind of like that, okay? So, I'm going to make this a little bit shorter. And I want to save all that I cut off to make mustaches. So I'm going to flatten it all the way around here like this. And then I'm just going to cut. What do you think? You think I should make his beard a lot shorter or just leave it long like that? What do you think? What do you think? I want to angle it kind of. Okay, so. Okay, his toboggan doesn't take hardly any work at all. I just grabbed a little bit of it up here, tied a piece of twine around it just to make a little ball thing there. As you see this guy over here, I just glued a jingle bell on, which is fine. He looks more woodland-ish. I probably am going to do the same thing for this one. Just tie, or just glue a jingle bell on there. I'm looking around. I don't have one handy. Hang on a second. I'll get one. Well, I don't have a big jingle bell handy, so I'm going to put a large green pom-pom on it. I got this package of assorted sizes of sparkly pom-poms in green. So we're just going to glue that to the top. Okay, so look and see if your toboggan has a seam in it. If it does, you want to put that to the bag. Mine doesn't have a seam in it. So first we got to get it on there. What you want to do in the back, find out where his nose is. Where is his nose? There it is. Come straight back to the back. I want to even out the little rim there. Put a little 2-inch piece of glue there. to glue the hat down. See, this big one doesn't even have a scarf or anything. He just has his hat. Very, very easy. These are so quick and easy to do. If you were making these for a craft show, you could just whip up a bunch of these in no time. Okay? As you see, there's no part of his face even showing. So I want to get the glue gun down in there and make sure that no part of his face even shows. Is that cute or what? He's so cute. So cute. Okay. Now if you want this to sit a certain way, maybe you want it to be off to the side. Maybe if you wanted it to stick straight up and down, you could. I can't do it now because I already glued it on there. But if you wanted it to stick up straight, like this, you could fill it with tissue paper, cotton balls, newspaper, or whatever. I mean, some people like it just sticking up like that. I kind of like it kind of laying over to the side a little bit, like this. So I'm going to glue it that way. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now I would also make a little floral arrangement like I did here for the side of his hat. I'm not going to save time. I'll just show you what I did. Just made a little cluster of the reindeer moss and the berries and the tinsel there. I glued that on there. Now you need a little mustache on there for him, and also that covers up this part right here. So, let's see. Find some of your longer strands. I would say 3 or 4 of them is plenty. I'm gonna tie it with my jute. I would typically do it with my white thread, but I don't know where I put that. So for speedy purposes, I'll do it with jute. Okay. Hang on a second. Tie it really tight. Now the knotted side is the side that you would glue to the face. Now I am going to unravel these strands because I think it looks cool because they're kind of a little bit curly. Just takes a minute to do. If you have any questions, just go ahead and type them in your comment box. And even though I can't see them right now, after the video is over, I'll go back and answer them if you have any questions about what I used or any of these process. I'm also going to be adding this video to my YouTube channel. So if you happen to be watching it on my YouTube channel, please join my women's community on Facebook called the She Shed. It is a social group for women only. Sorry, guys. We're just kind of hang out and do some craft projects, share some meditations, some daily devotions, some little old remember back when things. It's pretty cool. Okay, check that out. Isn't that cute mustache? So you're just going to glue that on there. Going to glue right where the knot was. Put that right under his nose. Now again, this is why you might want to do that with white string. I'll probably paint that white. That looks a little bit too obvious maybe. But there's our little gnome. Again, you could decorate him up. I would put some little floral stuff on him. Oh, let me see. Maybe now that color wouldn't show up. Depends on what kind of stuff you got to decorate with. Not into the glitzy as much, but you get the drift. You would just make something like this for right here, and that guy would be done. I want to get onto the snowman and the penguin, okay? So he's done. Move him out of the way. Okay. Okay, so the snowman. Check this out. Is that cute or what? He's so cute. Now, this snowman, obviously you don't need a nose like the gnome. You don't need that kind of a nose, so these are a little bit faster to make. But you do need a nose out of something. As I mentioned before, I make them out of polymer clay. You could make them out of salt dough clay, which is just salt and flour. Hang on a second. I'm having trouble staying online on my laptop. I don't want to miss any comments if anybody say anything. Okay, here we go again. Okay, so this is the base. It's the same way we filled the other socks. You just fill the bottom half of your man sock, which is this part. Cut it off right below the heel, straight across. Cut this off right above the heel. Throw the middle part away. This could be a toboggan for another snowman. This could be the body of a snowman. So this is the bottom part of it. See how much smaller it is once you fill it? But that's what I used. Filled it with dried rice. Tied it with a rubber band, then tied jute around it to hold the same thing for holding it closed. Okay, so that's where we are with it here. Now this guy, I made his coat out of the fuzzy woman's slippers. Perfect for a coat. Now here's one that I cut. I've already cut the heel part out of it. I cut it right below the heel for that part, right below it or above the heel for this part. This could be a toboggan, but this particular one, just to try it, I left the heel on. I left the heel on. Here would be the heel here, and I cut straight across. This is the heel. This gave me a part to put over him like a little hood. I thought it was perfect. I didn't have to make a separate toboggan. So that's what I did for this guy. The heel part is his little hood that comes over his head. That's what I did with that one. So now I'm going to do something different with this one. I'm going to go ahead and use this for his coat. Just put that on him like that. I mean, how easy is that? Okay. Roll this down. No, I don't like that. I want to tie that off with jute because I want to put a scarf on him. Okay, never mind. I'm going to tie this off with jute. You too, Joyce. Good to see you. Have a great day. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this off. It's in the way. I got to put his scarf on. Okay, so cut as much of that off as you can. Okay, scarf. Scarf. Okay, for the other one, I used the nubby shawl-like thing that I bought at the dollar store. This is just a flannel fabric. I got a quarter yard of it and cut it. I tore it into 3 strips that are about 3 long or wide, I mean, and So that makes a lot of scarves, okay? So I only need eyeballing it here. I'm going to fold that in, the raw edges in, put that around him like this, tie it in an overhand knot here. Got fuzzies everywhere. Fringe up the bottom of it. And then glue it down. That was easy. And the scarf. Is that cute or what? Okay, so for the eyes, as I mentioned, now you could find black beads. You could glue little black whole peppercorns for eyes and noses, but I decided to try something different. I had some ball head straight pins. You can get these at your grocery store usually. Definitely Walmart, and definitely, I mean, most people that carry sewing supplies or emergency sewing supplies, you just want it to have a ball head on it. And what I did was I used some craft paint on a plate and just rolled it in there in the black to make it black, like I did. This is what I'm making. The eyes for the snowman and his mouth, I used straight pins with a ball head on it. Just rolled it in some black paint, stuck it in my little thing of twins. See here, I got one drying there, and once it's dry, I cut them off with a pair of needle nose pliers, or any kind of pliers. You can bend them back and forth and break it off about so far. Then you got the short thing that's not sharp on the end, but it's enough to stick it in there and make your eyes. That's what I did with these. So easy. A little bit time consuming because you gotta paint them and wait for them to dry and whatever, but it works great, okay? So I'm not gonna finish that part because that takes drying time and all that kind of stuff, too much time. But you get the drift of how I made the eyes. Okay, so then I have made a couple of toboggans here in advance. I showed you how to make those. You just take the upper part of the sock that has the ribbing. You know, it would be the top part of the sock is what you make your toboggans out of. And you turn it inside out, gather it all up, tie it off, and then glue a little jingle bell or a pom-pom on the top, and you have a little toboggan for your snowmen or your gnomes or whatever. This one I put a little jingle bell on. This was a fuzzy footy. This is the top of a man's sock. Love, love, love it. I don't know which I like best. Black looks good. I don't know which I like best. I like them all. Let me see how this looks. Yeah, I kind of like that. No, maybe I'll go with black. I'll do the black. I can't make up my mind. That's the bad thing. Okay, so you want to get it on there. First pull it all the way on. Then you want to raise it in the back. Stick a dab of glue on it. So you have to keep it on there all the way while you glue. Just go around a little bit at a time. Gluing it as you go. You're wanting to cover up almost all of it except the very bottom of it, okay? I mean the very front of it. Now once this cools and dries, I'm going to raise that up so you can see just a little bit of his face. I'm going to glue this down here. You like the black hat? Okay, now that that's dried, you want to push this up just a little bit and then glue that up. Ouch. That hot glue can be something else, I'm telling you. There we go. There we go. Okay. Like I said, I would, let me find it. Here's one of the straight pins that I painted in the black already. It's dry, but I only have one. I would cut that off with a pair of pliers and stick that in for the nose or for the eyes, like I did him. And then glue the nose on. I'll go ahead and glue the nose on. Now, as I mentioned, I used polymer clay and made the carrot-like noses out of polymer clay. You can also do this with a piece of aluminum foil, but I'll show you what else I found that you could use. I found this for $1 at the dollar store. It had these little berries that were kind of pointed. I thought, oh, that'd be perfect. That's what I used to make the penguin's nose out of. I just painted them orange, let them dry, and then glued them on. You could also make that for a snowman's carrot nose, but it wouldn't be a very big one, but it would be cute anyway. You could do that. You could do that. I'm going to glue this on here for his nose. His nose is almost bigger than he is. And there's his nose. You know, you don't even have to put eyes on him. I don't have any eyes. I only have, if you had some, you could glue, that'd be too big. I guess you could probably paint one of these little berries on there to make him some eyes. Now, I like the pens, but I don't have enough of them painted and it takes too long for them to dry. But all I did was I cut it off in half and then I put just a dab of Elmer's glue on it and then stuck them where I want the eyes to go. They were so cute for the snowman eyes. So then you put a little greenery on him if you want. If you want to put buttons on there, you can glue some wood. I found some burgundy buttons. If you want a 1/4 inch, those are smaller than 1/2 inch. A little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch, but 1/4 inch buttons, these are 1/4 inch wooden buttons. That would work great. But that's how I made the snowman. Now, the only difference in the penguin, the body, again, is made just like we made all the other bodies. This is a solid black man's sock. This is not a fuzzy sock. You don't want to put the fuzzy socks for the body because then you want the contrast. You want the hats to be fuzzy if you want fuzzy, but not the bodies, okay? So this was a man's black sock, filled it the same way. Used rubber bands on there first to tie it off, then tie twine around to hold it, rubber band around the neck, and then twine to hold it, and then you're here, okay? So again, toboggan. Of course, you wouldn't want a black toboggan because it wouldn't show up. Again, you tie the hat on. You want to glue it at the bottom around the neck, and then coming up the side around here. I don't want to put that toboggan's not showing up enough. I need to use a different toboggan. Okay, what are we going to use for toboggan? Even if you had to use a white toboggan, you could. White would be boring. I'm just saying you could. Just to give you an idea, I would tie it up inside out. Tie it up inside out. Let's just do it. Little rubber band to tie it off. And then jute on top of that to make sure it doesn't come undone. They have such cute Christmassy fuzzy socks, women's fuzzy socks out already. I couldn't wait to go to a different Dollar Tree. I think I bought all of them. Then you turn it inside out. That leaves you a flat surface to either glue a pom-pom on. Let's just go ahead and do that. Oh. I can sit and make little toboggans all day long. Love, love, love it, okay? That's this guy. Now, obviously, when you turn the band up so far, you get to the messy, these are 50-cent socks, people. They're not going to be that great, right? So you're going to have to pull it down enough to cover that up where you don't see all that. Oh, forgot his scarf. Gotta put a scarf on him. Okay, another piece of flannel. So easy. Again, 3-inch wide ripped strip of flannel. Actually, any kind of fabric would work. Turn the outside edges in. Tie it around here. In an overhand knot. And cut up to fringe the bottom of them. It's probably a little bit too long. Maybe shorten it up a little bit. I need another glue stick. Okay. Oh, thank you, Becky. Have a good birthday and enjoy your pizza. Catch you soon. Okay. Okay, I want to... I know this is a long email, ladies. You can always, as soon as I end it, watch the replay and fast forward to get through the dead zones where I'm busy making stuff. You can just kind of get an overview by skimming through it real fast. Okay, so we're making our little penguin. Okay, so I made my basic body. If you missed it, you can always go back to the beginning of the video and watch how I made the basic body. To make his stomach, you need white felt, which my dollar store did not have any white felt, so I had to make do with something that was made out of white felt. These little snowman things came, I think there's a dozen in a package for $1, but they're white felt and I could use them. Okay, I actually just I use these to put my buttons on. So I'm going to cut the little circles out here and make it fit my snowman. Don't need that. Okay. Fold in half at the centers there. I'm just eyeballing this, people. See, something that you could glue in the middle for his tummy. How about that? Just make and do here. Okay, so I'm going to hot glue that on there for his tummy. The drying time just drives me nuts. Okay. Now I glued 3 little buttons down here, trying to give you the abbreviated version of it. That's how I made this. Just glued 3 little buttons down here. So his tummy's done. As I mentioned earlier, I made his eyes by dipping the bald head of straight pins in white craft paint and letting them dry. I had a bunch of them on my little thing here drying, which takes drying time, so I won't do that live. But I did some in white paint for his white eyes, and then after that was dry, I just tipped the very tip of it with a black marker to make the little dots for his eyes. And for his nose, you can make a polymer nose if you wanted to, like I did the carrots. But I found these little berries that were elongated shape, that when you pull it off there, it's two of them like that. I just painted those orange and then cut them off and hot glued them on for the nose. That's how his nose looks. Show you up a close-up view of him. Isn't that cute or what? Okay. So then his wings, and you don't have to put these on here at all. I just thought he looked almost naked without any hands. So again, went back to my white felt pieces and having to make do, since I didn't have a sheet of felt, I just cut some petal shapes out of there like this. Cut the flat top off like this. That's going to be his inner wing. And then I took 2 5-inch squares of black fabric. This has a print on one side, which I don't want, so I'm going to use, this is going to be my right side. And first of all, I just folded up the edge. And hot glued it shut. I just folded it up about a 1/2 inch. Eyeballing it here, people. That's what we do. We eyeball things when you do crafts, right? Saves us having to sew. for those of you that don't like to sew. And then I'm just taking the end and folding it up to the middle, folding this end up to the middle to get somewhat of a point, like that. I'm going to glue, it doesn't even matter if they're even, I'm going to glue a dab under there to glue it in place. Okay. Now I'm going to glue one of these pieces of white felt in the middle. Again, eyeballing it, that's one. Do the other one the same way. Turn up the edge 1/4 inch, finger press it. Just stick a little dot of glue under there to hold it. Running out of glue here, folks. And then same thing on the ends, just a dot of glue under there to hold it. This is just so it doesn't need to be neat, because all this is going to be hidden. Fold in the corner, kind of the halfway point. Fold in the other corner to the halfway point so that you have a nice little point there. And then put a little bit of glue under there to hold it. And then glue that to the inside of there. None of this is going to show except the very bottom of it. Okay. Now, you're going to roll up the sides, fold it, just fold it and roll it up here till it rests up against the felt piece there, and glue it to hold it. Do the same thing to the other side. Just fold it up there to hold it. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Put some glue in there to hold it. Do the same thing to the other one. Fold it and roll it up like so. Glue it. Same thing with the other side. Roll it up like so. And glue it. Okay. Now, we got our little wings. Hopefully they don't have too much glue on them. If you do get glue on it, because I've gotten glue on them, you could just use a black felt tip marker and rub over that, and it'll just so we got our little wings like this. You have to decide how long you want his arms to be. You want them to be really long. You want them to be really short. I kind of like the little short ones. So you made these plenty long. I'm just going to cut it off right there. Oh, I see I cut off where I glued it. I'm going to use that as a measurement to make the other one the same length. And you might have to re-glue your little side there. The top of this is going to be covered by the scarf. But do make sure you have it secured down. Okay, there's one wing. Is there anybody that has never burnt themselves with a hot glue gun? I always do it. Always, always, always. Okie doke. Fold that fabric in there to get it secure. Now this is going to go up right. You want to make it straight across the top. That's the only thing. You're gonna slip that right up under his scarf. Okay. So you're gonna kind of move his scarf up there and get one of those tucked right up underneath his scarf. Okay. I might have to just move his scarf way up out of the way there. I probably should have done this before I put the scarf on there. You know I'm just winging it, right? Okay, put some glue across the top there. Put it clear up under there where his scarf is going to cover it, right? Okay, now this is going to be a little bit trickier. Yeah, I definitely should have done this before I put the scarf on there. But hey, it's okay. Easy peasy. Okay. Look, I got glue back here. But that's okay. Just kind of maybe go over that with black paint or black marker and it'll disappear. I got glue all over myself there. Okay. So then we're just ready for his hat. And of course his eyes, which I'm not going to do on camera. It takes too long. Yes. So now he's ready for his little hat. This is a really bad quality of sock, I'm telling you. If you have a sock like that where one side of it doesn't look as good as, that's what you get with dollar socks, right? Got glue all over my hands. Okay. Okay, I want to pull this up enough where I'm only getting the best part of that ribbing showing. Here we go. See, that covered that right up. Same thing over here. I want to cover up the top of that wing. Give it a second to dry. Same thing over here. Second to dry. Get all the glue off your fingers. Then once it has dried really well, then you can pull his hat up enough to show his face. Put some glue up here. Perfect. Don't want a lot of that to show, okay? How cute is that little bugger? Okay, so now you can just leave his hat that way if you want, or I kind of like it kind of hanging over to the side a little bit. You could glue that in place or just leave it that way. Now, as I mentioned, I made eyes out of a ballpoint ball head straight pins. If you happen to find some that are white, great. Those would be perfect. I cut them in half. I cut this off with an old pair of scissors. I use needle nose pliers, and then you could just stick them in there. Obviously, yellow's not too good for eyes, but you get the drift. If you cut these off to about 1 inch, then right before you stick them in there, just put a little drop of Elmer's glue on there, and put them in there. Okay. And that does the eyes. Very, very easy. Penguins don't need noses, but you could put noses on there. As you see for this guy, I used one of these berries off of the here. I tore those off and painted them orange, and I would glue that on there. Is that cute or what? Love it. Needs some buttons for his coat. You can put different sizes. So adorable. Love, love, love it. He just maybe needs some greenery on his hat. Oops. Just adding some little stuff. So cute. I love it. I have got to make me a bunch of these. I love them. They'll make great Christmas gifts. Love, love, love it. Make them for a friend, your neighbors, your pizza delivery guy, your best friend, whoever. Ladies, if you enjoyed this video, if you love these dolls, post any questions you want and I will answer them. I'll try to post this so you can watch the replay. If you have any questions, let me know. Share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.